Hi there. We're gonna finish our lesson 11. So I'm gonna pull up my PDF file where we stopped. So here we are. So we're gonna continue with 11.3, verbs with irregular perfective stems. So today this section we're gonna be looking at some of these verbs that start with RG, and then they have the irregular perfective stems as the BD change. So let me first go over some of these verbs that, and then we can come back. So, okay, so we have these verbs that we have the habitual is the usual R, the prefix, and then we have the base, the G base, and then that G, it changed into a D. So there are two changes that take place. One is the usual change from R to B, if you guys remember. But now we have in the base, if you have a G or GU, it changes into a D, okay? So one more time, if it is an RG verb or RGU before an I, an E, or E to that would change into a D, okay? And the R, of course, it would change into a B. So there are two changes that take place with these types of verbs. So let's look at some of them right here. So we have the verb verdate, and then that's the overdate, right? Like what you guys already know. But this one is a little bit different here. So if you look at this verb, which is a gas, right? The GU changes into D and the R changes into B. And argive, again, GU changes into a D and the R into a B and so forth. So we have this other verb, which is argiv into div, argishik, vdishik, argish, vdish. And then we have argub, vdub. Okay, so anyway, so just be careful with those two changes for this verb. So we have some examples of this of the sentences here using the irregular perfective stem. So he hugged the child of the Zimnin, and then Chico washed dishes of the Czech blood. They saw the dresses of the Rabistiet. The doctor nodded off, the Sheikh Doctor. And then we have Dija bad guy dollar. And we smoke cigarettes of the one gas. There is a typo here, guys, so be careful that it should be E with two dots, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So please, again, read the details, and as I read the sentence for you, and then again, go back and just make sure that you understand the change that takes place with these new verbs that we are introducing. And do your homework so that you can practice in changing the stems. Okay, so in addition to these verbs having two changes, and we also have their irreales being irregular, like stems. Okay, so all the verbs with irregular BD perfected that we've just gone over, they also have this unexpected irrealis form. And as you guys can see here, for let's see, we're going to look for a CD and the photograph Vergil, right? So the R changes into, for the perfective, QU before I, E, and E two dots. Okay, so as you can see here, so that's the R is turning into QU before the I, as in Killian, or Ki Pedro, Pedro washes the dishes. And also, since we Zapotec is a tonal language, that the R for the realist, RG, I'm sorry, that turns into a C before a U, O, or A, such as this example, right? So the ergub, it changes into kub. Okay, so I guess if you think about it in the perfective stem, the BD is the one that changes. So, and we've looked so far at other verbs that we've looked at the point of references are the habitual forms, right? But for this BD perfectives, our point of reference is the BD. So the BD is the one that changes into QU or C, the QU before I, E, and E to that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so again, we have all the details that I really hope that you take some time and read them so that you can have a better understanding of what we're talking about, and do your homework, and then you'll probably, through practice, you'll understand more. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about another pronoun. So far, we've looked at so many different pronouns, and now we're introducing the animal pronouns. Okay, so in Valley Zapotec, we have a special pronouns used to refer to animals, and here are some examples. And these animals, we usually use them with small animals. Okay, so I know it's kind of strange that we have these pronouns for little cute animals, and sometimes we also use it for very young children. So as you understand and read about it, you will get an idea when to use it. Hopefully that the explanation is helpful for you. But now I'm going to go ahead and then say the sentences, and as usual we have the English sentence here. It is barking, so I would say kadoshum. One more time, kadoshum. Okay, and then we have a focus sentence. They got hungry. And remember that we begin the sentence with the focus word. So larum with the andrum. Okay. Next, itasularme. Itasularme. The cow is chasing it. Cardinal vaglam. Okay. All right. So, okay, as I said earlier, that we also use this verb to refer to children, very young children sometimes. So if I said like he, the child, grabbed a tortilla, I would say mnasum get, mnasum get. And next is bek ichiblam, bek ichiblam. Next is mnitrum, mnitrum. And lamanavnes, lamanavnes. Okay. And then we have ariakum, ariakum. Okay, so and then we have 11.6 sentence with the gas once. Okay, and then so this one takes an object like you want something, right? For example, if I said I want a dog, I would say casa tebek. Okay, casa tebek. So the object is the dog, right? I want a dog. And then we have Elena wants the book. And also, if you want to ask a question, remember this is not a yes/no question, so there is no a at the end. So it would be shirkazu, shirkazu. All right. Shirkaz can also be used in a sentence with another verb. So, for example, if I were going to say, I want the doctor to learn Zapotec, this is the shirkaz, right? Right here. And then since it's using another verb, is learn. So to say, I want the doctor to learn Zapotec, I would say, Arkaza isei doctor disa. Okay. So, Arkaza isei doctor disa. This is me wanting the doctor to learn Zapotec. Okay, so we have other examples here. He wants the person to smoke a cigarette. Arkazum kubun guess. sarcasm, guess. So this is the one, this is this smoke. These are the two verbs that we have in this sentence. And the last group we have, I want you to look for money. So casa kiliumul, casa kiliumul. All right. And then this is the someone sentence pattern. So you have their cause, you have the subject, right? And then we have the irregular verb, subject to, and the rest of the sentence. So the subject one, it's a different subject from subject two. So in this case, this is me, this is doctor, right? So remember that the verb is in the realis form, and the second verb is, the first verb is the habitual form, and then the second verb is in the realis form. So that's the way we construct a sentence to want somebody to, do something else, or you want somebody to do something. All right, I hope that makes sense. And again, we have your usual tarea, your homework, so you can practice right here. Please keep up with your homework. Okay, so now I'm gonna be reading some of these sentences so you can hear how it is pronounced. Okay, so we have Juan wants to crash the can. So again, we have Juan está en Juan la. Okay, so I don't know if you notice here, but we have two Juan, right? So we have Juan está en Juan la. So this is actually a little bit different than the other sentence pattern that we just looked at a second ago. So we have, and you guys have already looked at some of the sentences where the subject one is repeated when it is the same person. So this is the same person, but it's just the way that this sentence constructed. It's the same subject. So Juan wants to crush the can. And there's a repetition of the subject, but it is the same person, okay? I hope that makes sense because you guys already look at a similar sentence in lesson 10. Okay, so the next one is, do you want to sneeze? So it's a yes, no question. So we say, per caso icegiue. Again, we have the use subject here, which is the same person. So even though we have two subjects, but it is the same individual. Okay, next. She wants to look for a box. So here is the pattern want to sentence. So as you can see, it's again, there's the verb or cast in the habitual form, subject one, irregular verb, subject two, which is the same individual, and the rest of the sentence. So, and the first one, which we already went over, it says, Arcas Juan está en Juan la. So Juan wants to crash the can. Okay, so it's the same person. And as I said, we already look at some of these similar sentences in lesson 10. So if you just think about that particular pattern, it's the same. Okay, so here we have other sentences, and when the subject of one sentence is a noun phrase, you can use a second want to pattern that will remind you more of English. Okay, so if the same sentence, so Juan wants to crash the can, right? So we say el cas Juan está en lat. And again, it's very similar to some of the same other sentences we've looked at in lesson 10 that now this is more similar to English, right? Because we don't have the subject to, which is fine, the repetition of the subject after the second verb. So again, it's a matter of choice if you want to use a sentence where the subject it repeats or not, and it means exactly the same thing as you can see here. Without the second subject, Juan wants to crash the can. And the other sentence that we had right here, right? We have the subject to, and here we don't use it. again, so the other sentence is the woman wants to sneeze, erkazana icheish, and then we have erkaz, arames ide dralievaronin. So we could have chosen to repeat the subject, but in this case, we omitted it, all right. So here you have it. So you have the habitual erkaz, you have the noun subject, and then you have the irregular verb, right, and the rest of the sentence. So just please be aware of that and read the details. And now let's look at this focus sentence. Juan wants to crash the can, right? So we begin the sentence with Juan casi lat. Remember that whenever we have a focus sentence, we begin that focus word at the beginning of the sentence in Zapotec. The other one is here. He wants the person to smoke a cigarette. So we start with he, right? Langarkazan ku buinges. All right, and by now I think that you guys should feel very good about this focus sentences and you know what to do. All right, so please do your homework. So that will really help you to practice. And then also we have one subject phrase with pronouns, which we also looked at some of them earlier in lesson 10. So when we are, for example, if we want to say, me and Elena want to look for the dog, right? So it's just it means and. So here we have the Zapotec sentence. Na con Lilena cousin Killenberg. Okay. The next one is Elena and I want to look for the dog, right? Lilena con our cousin Killenberg. So as you can see right here, you can either start with I or Lielen, right? So this is inverse. So in the first sentence, we say I, and then second one, Elena and I. So it's just the two of us that we want to go and look for a dog. Again, the next sentence, we start with the teacher. Mes con you, the injud lever a, right? Did the teacher and you formal borrow the book? Mes con you, the injud lever a. Okay, and then we have another example here. Leo konomniin the anade. Leo konomniin the anade. So again, you could have said you con mes the injud lever. It doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. The same for this one. Okay, so you could have said nin con Leo the anade, right? So it's whether you start with the one or another, it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. All right, so here you have, if the quant subject phrase contains na, then the verb must include the bound pronoun. And I think that you guys should be familiarized with this type of sentence by now. Okay, so just please go over the explanation and keep practicing. And that's it for lesson 11. And I hope that you guys really practice doing your homework and also trying to imitate the way I say the sentences, because that's it's one of the best ways to learn language, by just emulating how the speaker says so. So, and then if you guys, we have a bunch of verbs here that you could go over in terms of VD stamps. So I guess make some index cards, memorize them, but we have them all here. Okay, guys, so until next time, bye for now.